All right, so let's start our session. Good morning, everyone. We have something like 34 people online, more joining as we speak. I want to welcome everybody for this session. Let me first have a drink first.
Yeah, I should take my coffee.
I've not had coffee for a few days already.
Why is that?
Because I can't get my coffee supply.
It's not just about gardenia, eh?
No, about gardenia ni. First world problems. I can't take instant coffee, so what to do?
Okay.
All right, let's get started. Thank you everyone for joining. Let me first introduce our panel session and those who are here, others who are also joining the session. This, as you know, is our very first panel session put together by Pitchin. I think it's important to understand why we are doing this, but not difficult actually. All of us are sitting at home. We are unable to meet and only see ourselves on Facebook or on Zoom and stuff like that. So we thought we'll put together a session because if anything, other than us all being impacted, businesses are impacted even more, right? So all of us are impacted. So we thought, let's share experiences, let's talk about what we are doing, and let's see whether we can also maybe enable others to also benefit from what all of us are doing to get through this crisis. So what we have here today, we have 4 panelists on our session. We've got CK Chang. CK Chang is from Oxwhite, the company that you all know. I'll get him to introduce himself later. But you know, they're from one particular industry, which is basically apparels and fashion. I then have Vincent Koch. Vincent Koch is from VMO Rocks. They are into events and F&B industry. So again, another industry that you know has got some impact from this COVID crisis. We've also got Edwin Wang. Edwin Wang has been online for way much longer than all of us, and his business is purely online, and he is into the selling of snacks and food and stuff like that, right? And then we've got Zaliza. Hi, Zaliza.
Hi.
So Zaliza is from the education sector. She'll also introduce herself later. So maybe I'll start with Zaliza first. So I'll get each of the panelists to say a few words. But before that, also, if you can see, we've also got Sam online. Sam, yes, that's Sam waving there. Sam is also the co-founder of Pitchin. So just as a quick introduction, I just realized some of you may not know who Pitchin is. So Pitchin is an equity crowdfunding platform. Sam and I are the co-founders. You also find Shah also logged into here, and maybe 1 or 2 other team members will join. So we've done crowdfunding, and you'll see afterwards that 2 of the people listed here have actually already done crowdfunding with us, and 2 are about to go live soon. So that's why we brought all of them together. Sam, you want to say a few words? You're muted.
Hi all, so I'm Sam, co-founder of Pitchin together with Cash. Happy to see all of you guys online. So while we wait for the MCO to be lifted, let's use technology to still keep on working, still to keep building our companies. So hopefully we'll have at least an hour well-informed discussion between all the 4 founders who I imagine are mostly affected by this particular extraordinary situation that all of us are facing. So Cash, back to you.
Okay, so I'm going to invite Zaliza first to introduce herself before we get the rest of the panelists. So go ahead, Zaliza.
Hi, everybody. This is me, teacher, Cikgu Zaliza. Genius Outlet is here with Pitchin with a mission of growing and expanding early childhood education. Genius Outlet has been established as an award-winning chain of preschool education, system, quality, affordable, and licensed by Ministry of Education Malaysia and also Ministry of Trade, Capital and HP. So it's a learning system with more than 70 centers nationwide, including its first international flagship in Indonesia. So we have, over the years, nurtured maybe about 70,000 children, developed about 50 entrepreneurs, franchise system in early childhood education, copyright 65, in-house developed materials, book titles. And so far we have invested close to 20 million with 10 million more for remodeling early childhood education and care for the next 5 years. And we target to be listed in KLSE by 2025. So why we are here? We are here for expansion. We are excited in expanding further. And we wish to open the opportunities for more families to join us. Yeah.
Thanks. Cash is missing because we can't see the face there, right? So let's move on with what we call Chang. Chang, you're actually muted. Can you unmute? Yep.
Okay. Hi everyone. This is CK Chang. I'm the founder of Oxwhite. We started from a single white shirts to where we are today, selling across a lot of essentials for modern Asians, from t-shirts to pants. I thank you for Pitchin for inviting me for this opportunity to share what we are doing shortly.
Okay, Edwin, can you go on now?
Hello, hi everyone. I'm Edwin from Signature Market. So what we do is we sell groceries online. Mostly it's natural and organic. So during this MCO, we are serving those people who need healthy food like diabetes patient, cancer survivor, or those who are not tolerant with gluten, okay? Or those who wish to eat healthy during this MCO. So we are fully operational this MCO.
Okay, and finally, let's have Vincent introducing himself.
Hi, good morning. Hey, thanks for inviting me, right? And I'm Vincent, I'm from Vimo. So originally we started out as a booking platform for event venues and services. And as you know, you can't do any events at the moment, so that's zero business there. But we've kind of expanded into other areas now as well because of partially before this COVID-19, our group had already expanded to having an online retail for alcohol, plus as well as having food advisor as part of our group now as well. So one of the areas that we have seen activity in is obviously in online commerce for alcohol as well as for food.
Thank you everyone for introducing yourselves. Okay, now let's get down to our session. I'm not going to ask you all if there's been an impact on this on your businesses from COVID, because we all know that all of us have been impacted. I think that question you don't have to answer, but more importantly, since we are all impacted, what I want to do is ask each one of you, what is the impact on your business? Because you're all from different businesses, you're from education, you're doing from events, or you may be doing e-commerce in the food industry or selling fashion. Now, what is the impact on your business now? And as maybe a little bit going forward, not just right now as in during the MCO, but in the next few months, what do you think the impact? Let me first invite Edwin to say something.
Okay, so for us, our impact is mostly on a lot of offline sales. So actually offline sales represents like 30% of our business. So all the events are cancelled, all the big corporate events are cancelled as well. So we are very lucky because our business are very highly diversified. We have other channels. So instead of we just shift our focus to another channel, okay? And our online channel is working very well. Yeah. So and moving forward, we are we are predicting that one of the biggest problem for us is the headcounts. Okay, just during this MCO, we have a very limited headcount that can work on site. Okay, and there's a lot of safety procedure that we are implementing right now. So there's all the obstacles that we are having right now.
You mentioned a different channel. Can you give an example of a different channel?
Yeah, so instead of like offline, we fully focus on online. Yeah, so we double down on everything in online.
Okay, Zaliza,
Yes.
could I get you to share? And also since I'm speaking to you now, maybe after when you finish talking, you can mute your audio on the left. You'll find a way to mute audio after you speak, after you finish speaking. So can you tell us what has been the impact on your business?
All right. I think in any condition, there are things you can control and things that you can't control. So we focus on what we can control and be the source of solution. We have thrived for 20 years in early childhood industry. So things that we can't control, you know, every year there's hay season, school closures, open, close, and there's HFM, head, foot and mouth disease season also is also every year. So those are things that we cannot control. But this becomes our list of threat, that is the calculated risk in our SWOT analysis to find solutions and opportunity. So we see this, and moving forward, we see the opportunity is that this remain as essential business because we exist and we coexist with community family needs. 95% of preschools in Malaysia are private preschool. So that's important to know. So as Genius, I would like aim for quality, affordable early childhood education. So we have the largest target market, and this allows us opportunity for expansion despite, you know, this threat. So we see this in our, you know, analysis for threat and this opportunity.
All right, thank you. Okay, so CK, you want to share your experiences?
Surely, thank you. Basically, at the very beginning of the MCO, there's not much impact on our business because Oxwhite, we are the online e-commerce company. Many sell through online, our direct-to-consumer model. However, as the things get serious, I think everybody, as a consumers, they are focused on more essentials like food, grocery. If those have kids, with all the essential for kids, and for masks and for hand sanitizer and all this stuff. So clothing wasn't their priority. So what we found out throughout the second half of the MCO, which is about 10 days after the MCO, we found out that the cost for us to acquiring a new customers is higher. But the sales is still coming in. It's just harder to reach them and convince people by during this period. We are grateful that because we have outsourced all our non-essential services, for example, our fulfillment service, our logistics service, and our storage service, that enable us to have the services still available for our public during this time. So people still receiving their things when they orders, and delivery still on time. So that is very grateful.
Okay, it's interesting that you say that your cost for acquisition is higher, because I was thinking that with so many businesses impacted and not really doing anything, the cost of advertising might be lower, right? Would that so where is this higher cost of acquisition coming from?
because our higher cost of acquisition coming from basically getting them to buy online through our Facebook marketing ads. So that part has gone up a lot, a bit during this period. Because Facebook marketing is our main channel of reaching out to these people, our potential customers.
All right. And finally, we'll get Vincent to share what's been happening on his side of the industry.
Hi, thanks. I actually, maybe to add on to what CK mentioned earlier about the cost of acquisition going up, it's very true. For example, for us, we didn't have to do Facebook advertising before, but this last few weeks we'll head into that a bit more. So there are two areas that obviously, since events totally dried up, we had to quickly pivot. So on March 16th, we launched a new section, which was for takeaway food. And what we did was we emphasized on self-pickups, where users would pick up the food themselves. And if they do so, some of the operators actually give discounts. So some go from 10% to 20%. So there's an incentive for self-pickup that way. And interestingly enough, that has grown steadily over the week. So week two sales compared to week one sales has more than doubled. And out of that revenue, that number of orders, 40% are actually self-pickups. So we're seeing an interesting development there. And the other development, like I mentioned earlier, where we're in online sales of commerce, sales of alcohol, that has actually picked up tremendously in this period, especially in coming into week two. We suddenly saw a big jump when it was announced that there will be an extension of 14 days of the MCO. So more people started buying alcohol.
Okay, I think that's very true, because even in the condo where I stay, what we noticed is that in the first few days, of course, it was difficult. Nobody knew what to do. But then the F&B people reacted. Right? So we began to get WhatsApp messages coming in almost every day. People were sharing and saying that this pan mi guy is coming and willing to take orders and take away, or this Indian food takeaways are willing to even come to our condo and allow us to collect from down there. So yeah, people are reacting, right? I think that brings me to the next question. The next question is like, our revenues are cut. Like in most businesses, your revenues are cut. So what can you do to increase revenues to survive the time when you can't open your businesses? So can you give any revenue tips? Maybe Edwin?
Okay, for the revenue tips, right? I actually have a case of my friend. She actually has 7 retail outlets, and during MCO, she cannot open at all. Okay, so and she has like so many headcounts to feed, right? So for the first week, what she do is she activate the training. Okay, sharpen the saw for all her retail staff. Okay, so everyone goes through a very every day. There's like a lot of training, Q&A. There's a lot of self-development. Okay, and on the second week, right, she started to do cold calling, because she got like a whole list of phone numbers of her customer. So she asked all the staff to do cold calling. Now ask like, can you order? You have been our loyal fans. Why don't you order our whole set and everything? So I can see a lot of player is digitizing their business in a very fast way, and I think it's a very good move. She acted very proactively.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I think that's an excellent suggestion, and something that I also had on my notes. because time and again, a lot of people are saying, okay, we are stuck in the MCO. We are stuck at home. Our businesses are not operating. What can we do? And one tip that I see coming up over and over again on many places is that this is the time for you to build your leads. Right? So you may not be able to sell right now, but if you can build your leads, and the MCO is not going to last forever, right? So if you build your leads, by the time you open again, you will have a whole lot of new people to talk to. And this is an excellent time because people are also very free now, right? So they are willing to listen to you. And also, and this is something that I find very heartening, people understand that this is a time of crisis and they want to help each other. I am literally seeing a lot of people online saying, how can I help? How can I give businesses some help? Right? So I think this is a good time for you to build your lead. Zaliza, would you like to share something?
Okay, I think the best method, as you say, people are more understanding. The best method is about understanding and supporting with our reassurance of commitment. That's what we do. Being our 2020 direction is focusing towards franchise model. So we focus our good team in two divisions, that is support division and profit center division. So we sharpen again this time, to really be giving, listening, and reassuring. So like in support division, we have in our education unit under the support division, to continuously providing online video productions. Amazing how teachers can be very creative producers. And then for the finance department, giving financial advisory for every franchisees, even to the extent of providing every template, whatever they need. HR support as well, identifying staff families that need help. So these are reassurance, And for the profit center division, for operations, the marketing, continuously with all sorts of online engagements, and our franchise department also continuously having the franchise relations, corporates. As you say, people are at home, so corporates are more listening now. So we have various surveys that we do, and then we compile and we make the report for people to understand. And we have a division of a new business also for corporate childcare. So this is the time that that we get to understand people better, and for people want to share more. So I would say this is proven effective for us. That is about supporting with reassurance of commitment.
All right, thank you. I think Vincent, you've already shared about the tips on FB and how to get more revenue. So maybe get CK to share some tips there.
Well, I'm slightly different, I think, than the rest of the sharing speakers. For now, the time for us now is to really not to panic and also change strategy and directions. I believe we have laid a very good foundation for what we want to do and achieve this year. The MCO or this crisis has made us even more careful and more prudent into make sure the execution part is reached the target we want to achieve. Why? Because we are already in e-commerce space. So during this crisis, the only one question is always pop up in my mind: how can we do better, better in what we do? So this is always have in my mind. So I did not change the course of the strategy, nor because during this time I need to sell masks, so or anything. No, we stay put, stay focused, sharpen the skill set across all the division, and that is how when this MCO lifted, we are set in advance than the rest of the competitor because we are focused.
Okay, thank you. I think moving on to another slightly different area, again on resilience and surviving this crisis. As businessmen, we all know it's going to be finally money that keeps us alive. So how are you guys managing financially and taking on these challenges that are coming up about no business on one side, you have staff still on this side, you still have your costs going on. So how are you managing the cash crisis? Vincent?
Well, we've actually been quite lean for quite a while now. I think so when I built the business, it was originally built on a very lean model. So we don't have too many overheads that we need to cut off anymore. So therein lies a challenge. I also don't have overheads to cut. It's already bare minimum, right? But so I think we should be able to weather this through because we've been able to find new areas of incomes coming in now. Some have surprised us, like I mentioned earlier. Yeah, but sharing from how some of the other operators that we're working with, because we work with a lot of F&B operators, so some of them have actually, in terms of being resilient at the moment, is that they have actually converted some of their staff into being delivery people. Right? So for food delivery, rather than give out the percentage to someone else, that's 35% to be given out to someone else, they've actually absorbed that, make use of their existing staff who have now got access time to deliver the food instead. So they are still able to keep some margin to themselves.
Okay, yeah, I think the one tip I want to share myself is that negotiate, right? So when necessary to manage your cash, everybody knows it's in a time of crisis, and I think businesses and business people should stand by their word, right? So I'm not saying don't pay, but that's not good because you're going to affect the whole chain. But I think you can negotiate. So sit down and talk to whoever, your suppliers or your cost centers and all that, and say, can we reschedule some payments? Can we pay later? So these are the kind of ways that maybe you can manage some cash. Maybe let me get CK to add on.
Sure. Basically, we are very, very lucky. Somehow, we able to raise the fund and receive the funds in a very last sum right before the whole thing started. So that's really thankful. Yes, it cannot be a better time. Even a month later, no, it's no go. So that's truly helped. But during this time, also what we have done in terms of cash flow positioning is we have worked very closely with our suppliers. Bear in mind, our suppliers also greatly affected in this crisis. We have suppliers, a factory in China that closed down even before the Chinese New Year started, and then lasted until end of March, right? So they are also suffer. But in this scenario, during that time, we help each other. We pay them even more on time before the due date, and then we give them orders when they start work. So, and some factories in other countries, like let's say Indonesia, they are not affected, so we remained the production there. So we help each other. So then we have factory in Thailand as well. It's not affected by the COVID-19. People still go to work in the factory. So over that time, we reduce the production quantity slightly slower. So we give the production quantity to other places and prioritize. So in terms of payments, wise cash flow, so far, the way we manage is mainly through suppliers, because in our business, and same with admin in Signature Snack, we take your money first, then only we ship the goods to you. So we are in much better position than having to have terms with our customers. So that is very helpful. But during this time, the concept that we built is we help each other. Not only we help ourselves, but also in factory in terms of need, like the one in China. Actually, we help each other.
Yes, just for a point to note, I think CK was one of those who were one of the last towards the end to raise money on equity crowdfunding just before the crisis started. You know, for those of you who don't know, Oxwhite raised 5 million on Pitchin in December, and I think
Yes,
to a certain extent that funds would have been very useful to get this through.
yes, it's the best timing ever. I cannot ask for a better timing, and that also play a very crucial part of us as a founder, and also Pitchin. We're making a very quick decision, right? Cash. I remember the time we were still talking. You know, shall we do it in 2020 when we have more sales result?
Yeah.
Cash. So let's do it now and close it even before the Christmas. So that was the very fast decision made during this time, and that enables everything happen so quickly and close the deal. So for those out there, I think who is listening, it's all important for us as a founders, we're able to make a decision fast and sharp and carry forward and execute it.
All right. The other panelists, you want to add on to the question of managing cash management?
Yeah, I want to add on.
Yeah.
Actually, for right now, the stage, right, is best to like don't spend a lot of marketing money for the future. Right now, just focus on profitability. So, and you need to clear all the leakage, all the unnecessary things that you're building for the future. So something like, okay, I'm going to do this campaign for brand building. That one you can wait later lah. All right. So for us, just before the crisis, like on February, we already changed our mode. Last time on January, our mode is grow at any cost. Okay, just grow your company, increase revenue. We want like amazing top line. But February, we changed our whole mode. The whole company mode is profitability, profitability, and profitability. So me as the CEO, I have to like remind everyone like, hey, profit, hey, profit, profit. So the Facebook, I monitor it every single day, make sure there's no deficit, there's always profit. Okay, if no profit, close. Yeah. So.
Okay. Yeah, I think I remember seeing this quotation somewhere. A business without a profit, without any profit strategy, is ultimately a hobby. Right? So we are not in the hobby business. We are in the business of actually making profit. Anybody else to add? Zaliza, you say something, or can I move on to the next question? You're muted.
Okay, yes, all right. Pretty much the same like CK just now. It is about giving back. It is about understanding, extending help and respect for each other's obligation. So this is the time how we get the cash reservation is by helping each other. So helping as in respect the obligations of both franchisees and franchisor, parents and the school, and understanding, giving whatever, extending help that we can. I think that is a time of crisis, how we manage it.
Okay, there's a question from one of the members in the audience, which I think is very good and worth speaking about. And I'm going to answer it first. So the question is, what improvements have you done on your business internally in terms of operation? And how will your products and services be operating differently after this whole situation is over? So let me jump in with one very quick answer, and all of us then later jump in with your short answers on this. Our improvement is exactly what we are doing right now. We have learned that we can actually hold meetings over Zoom. So a lot of people may not be getting coffee from us anymore, because I think going forward, some of us are going to be called and say, let's just have a Zoom session. We don't really need to meet for an hour, because I think if you have a Zoom session, half an hour, we can complete it. So what's your most improvement that you are doing on your sessions? CK, can you answer that first?
Sure. Basically, our whole team since we started, we are very remote. Staff sometimes they can work from home, and that enables us to prepare for today. And I never thought that in a wider stream today, what we have practiced can plan for use today. So we have a lot of tools out there that enable us to have the team coordinating their work remotely. So during this time, our work, although no one comes to office, is still operating. We do not have to find any way to make it work. So even from payroll to payment to everything else is remotely on a cloud server. So that has prepared us for that is the very main thing. We keep everything the same. We have not changed a course of things we have planned. Now it's just the execution with some twists. The twist because the effect on the production and also the logistic part from shipment coming in from overseas. There are some challenges in Port Klang and in the Thailand border, which the goods are being stopped from coming in. So once these are all restart, we will be back to normal.
Okay. What about you, Vincent? What's your tip?
Oh, well, okay, very much like CK. I mean, our operations had always been very remote even before this. But I think one of the biggest changes that we've seen is that sometimes when we meet up with merchants, they want to, sorry, when we negotiate or talk with merchants, they say, okay, let's meet up, let's go and take a meeting. Right now, all the meetings are done online, which I find extremely effective. And I think also because of the downtime with a lot of merchants, now they're actually able to spend the time to think of new ways, and as we come up with new ideas with them, they're a lot more receptive. So I think that's been the upside of this, that meetings can be done digitally and very productively and very efficiently. So very much like what you say, rather than a 1 hour meeting or even a 2 hour meeting because of the travel time, it now gets streamed down to 30 minutes or at most an hour. And I can do meetings after meetings after meetings, one after the other, very, very quickly.
All right, Zaliza. Yeah, Zaliza, just a few words from you, and then later Edwin.
Okay, my business, much human touch, teachers and the children and parents. So this time around, the communication is very important with our clients. So being educator-based business, communicating is all about working together with parents. It's always been that collaboration. Parents are teachers, teachers are parents. So like before this, we have what we call SPA, Student Parents Activities, every 2 months. But during this MCO, we see better SPA, Student Parents Activities, because we are exchanging videos, we're exchanging, okay, how can, we give tips and then parents do, and then parents send, and then we share it with parents. So it has become very active with this, online exchanges. So I think in terms of that, I see a positive response for that, improvement.
Okay, so from our side, we are actually very lucky. We got an approval from government to operate during this MCO. 50 our workforce is actually on site doing pick and pack and doing all the production work. So I see that all the procedures that we put in is we provide a lot of sanitizer in every single corner of our premise. Okay, then we do sanitizing work 3 times a day. Okay, and every 2 hours, all our staff needs to wash hand, and everyone needs to have 2 times of temperature check. Okay, every 4 hours, and everyone must have mask on. Okay, so I foresee this thing is not just for MCO. After the MCO is lifted, most of the company needs to do maybe either full or like partial kind of this kind of procedure. So and it took us like 1 or 2 weeks to come out with all the SOP together with the government. Yeah. So this is the thing that we change operationally.
Okay, now moving on to another area. I think all of us have staff. We all have people who work for us. They're all sitting in different places now. How do you handle this question of motivating them when they're probably looking and saying that I don't know if my company is going to survive, or I don't know what's happening to my company, and is the career that I am working at going to disappear or change? How are you communicating with your staff? Let me get, since you're out there, Edwin, maybe you just carry on first on this.
Okay, so for us, we are not that affected. So all of our employees actually our company is very transparent. Everyone can see our revenue. So it's like instantly they know, oh, the company is affected or not affected. So for us, the console show that is not affected. So most people just remain calm.
Okay, Vincent?
Well, I think for us, there's basically no change other than our weekly meeting has been transformed to go online. And like admin, we have a constant update on where we're going or how we're doing each week. So the team does know, right? And they do realize that event sales are definitely down, but other areas are now picking up. So I guess in that sense, the fear is less. To emphasize to them, and moving forward, there will still be challenges. It's not going to be a return to normal once MCO is lifted. It is going to be different set of challenges. So, for example, in the food delivery business, I think now there are, on last count, I think I've seen 11 or 12 platforms come up to do that. Everyone that is in the food and beverage space has actually pivoted to that, right? So that's going to be a new set of challenge. Nevertheless, then we just have to find our way around that.
Okay, CK, how are you managing your staff?
I keep bugging them. I miss my team. I'm a very people person, and coming, every day, didn't have a chance to see them and say good morning to them really get me nuts. Basically, I always tell them, my team, which I value the most, we actually the market needs us, the society needs us. In time of this, whenever we recover, people have less money in their pocket because of their reduced income or whatnot. I think a brand like Oxwhite even more so important than before and ever, because now people can get better quality for better prices from Oxwhite, and we should even deliver more of this promise to them and introduce more awesome products that they want, and at the price everybody can afford. So in the time before this, people think, wow, I still can get for branded and stuff like that. So but we can tell them in this situation right after that, people do need us more. For example, when there was a tsunami in Fukushima in Japan a few years back. That was when, right after the Fukushima incident, the tsunami, people switching to non-branded in Japan. People go for Uniqlo Mall and Muji Mall. That's when the big business pick up then. People realize, wow, I don't need to pay so much more for quality. People can opt for alternative brand. So in time like this, I tell them we are in the best spot ever. So we keep motivating our staff. Let's do what we need to do. And it's time for us to deliver to our customers. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Zaliza?
Genius Outlet, we keep everyone excited and busy. This is the time that we need to support parents. Very, very busy actually. And we're lucky that before this, we have actually in 2020, we restructure our our position, and we focus on more on the franchise model, okay, being the direction. So from top down, the heads of support division, the profit center division to and bottom up from the teachers and parents, this has actually brought the best, I would say, in all of them. They are more creative, in terms like this. It can either bring someone either down or really up creative. So this is the time that we see parents, teachers, and the team are very creative. There's homely homework guides that we provide every day throughout these MCO periods. And Genius Outlet have emailed all parents through the respective center manager of every of our 70 centers. The daily guides complete with exclusive videos made by teachers and the education team. So I would like to say, we'd like to congratulate the parents for being very excited and participative. I guess after these MCOs, parents in Malaysia will be, better in parenting skills and teaching their children.
True. Yeah, actually, a lot of people have realized that they have skills that they didn't know, and that they were able to manage things that they thought they could not manage, and that's really what's happening, really. And so far, we haven't had any cases of people killing each other in their homes while stuck in the MCO. So we are safe there. Malaysians are good people, and we are getting along well with each other. Okay, now moving on to dealing with your clients and your businesses. For example, Pitchin, we actually we responded to this crisis, right? So what we did was we sat down and we looked at it and we said, look, a lot of people are going to come to us to raise money right now. We can continue to do the same way we do, or we can help them. And what we did was we actually released a statement. We dropped our crowdfunding fees for those of you, Genius Outlet, and also for VMO Rocks who are going to raise money soon. You are going to get a discount on your fees. So we let that out into the market and let people know that we are going to drop our fees. And even necessary, don't take our fees and turn it into cash, turn it into shares. So those are the kind of things. Now, did you all respond? Have you all done anything specifically for COVID-19 out into the market? And if you didn't, it's fine, because I think I also heard, like CK said, that I am going to just continue doing what you're doing. But if you did, maybe you want to share that and give some strategies to people as to how a company can communicate with your market during the crisis. Since you are here or still there, Zaliza, maybe you carry on. You're muted.
Right. Okay, yes, okay, fine. So for Genius Outlet, you see we have these two sides, that's franchisees and then parents. So for franchisees, franchisees and parents, we're looking at 3 months, actually 3 months help, that we can provide them in terms of discounts, in terms of various supports. So why 3 months? Because we see that this can give a sense of stability to all parties, that we are not a school that's just come and go. We will need to maintain this for our children's education throughout the year. So this is something that we get everyone to understand. and to support each other.
Okay, Edwin, communications.
Okay, so for us, let me see. For us, I think everything is still normal. But during this season, we actually teach people how to live a very good lifestyle at their home, because everyone is working from home, right? So we are teaching them like you you need to have a very healthy lifestyle. You need to like exercise. You need to eat healthy, and you need to feed your mind through aromatherapy. So we are actually educating our customer on how to live a very healthy lifestyle. Yes.
Oh, okay, CK.
Not much, Sam. Not much on this topic.
Okay,
Yes.
what about you, Vincent?
Sorry. Yeah, not much either. Actually, it's still the usual because it's a remote team primarily.
Okay. Let me see whether we have any questions before I move on to the last part of the session that we are planning to do. I think someone is asking how to convince public outside education industry to believe in Pitchin investment is profitable in 5 years' time. I will answer that later towards the end of the session. So you're going to stay on to the end I'll answer that question later. How can I plan to pledge for people to pledge money? Again, we'll answer that towards the end. Okay, so moving on. I think it's not just all doom and gloom, right? So we see all businesses have been adapting and actually reacting positively and figuring out how to cope under this situation. What kind of opportunities are you all seeing emerging, right, in your industry or wherever? What kind of opportunities that you can see after this crisis is over? Maybe I'll get CK to answer first.
Surely. Definitely, our e-commerce industry like Signature Snack and Oxwhite, we were right on the benefits of people were more used to it, buying things online. That is beyond our traditional age group we used to target on. For example, our primary target age group was from 20 to 35. And because during this lockdown, someone from 35 to 50 years old, they are more open up buying things online now. They are more comfortable. So as we've seen in China, from a friend who shared with me, regardless your age, you have to start buying from your handphone. If not, you will starve to death. So you have no choice. So people start used to it instead of rejecting them. So it will be great for Signature Snack and us because generally in public, people are more open up for buy things on e-commerce now. They are more comfortable. And also for someone like Vincent, in terms of food delivery, instead of in the older age group, you know, they say die also they will eat in a restaurant, they won't tapao or they won't have someone send the food over because they would not see the idea why I have to pay the delivery fees or I need to see how they cook, I need to wait there and tapao. So the behavior changes I think is very significant that we can see this thing moving forward in much faster phase than we used to plan. And that is really very good. And also we can target a wider range of age group now. So this is a opportunity, not only for us, for anyone want to pivot into e-commerce. This is a great time opportunity for all of us.
Thank you. What about Edwin?
Yeah.
What kind of opportunities do you see emerging?
Yeah, I totally agree with CK, and there's a lot of article is sharing about the digitalization is speed up due to coronavirus, and for our niche industry vertical like buying groceries online, in Malaysia is only surprisingly 0.3%. compared to like electronics, which is like 7% of the total revenue. Okay, so for our grocery is very fairly new. So and right now we can see a lot of people they are opening up to the behavior of, okay, let's try buy groceries online. Yeah, so it's a very positive thing for us right now. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm hearing there is digitalization. That's the big opportunity that's turning up
Yes.
here.
Yes.
It's really digitalization. Now, who else have not answered this question? I've forgotten. Zaliza, is it? Okay, Zaliza, please.
Okay. We see how people actually at this time want to build community. Servicing humans is seen as important beyond just building business. That's what exactly we are, established for 20 years as important community family support. So Genius Aulat being preschool with full day care and education contributes actually now 20% to the 95% private preschool in Malaysia. So we see how this as an opportunity, because after this MCO is over, you know, it will still, people are stronger to build the community. Parents are more receptive for online, you know, that we can support other than just, you know, in school. And therefore, we also see from this that companies will offer more for their staff to be linked with a corporate daycare, potentially will be Genius Aulat with them. You see, so opportunities for business expansion for Genius Aulat is large, I see here. While at the same time, we are helping to build the community.
Sorry. Okay, yeah. Finally, Vincent, did you answer the question, Vincent, just now?
Yeah, sure. Well, actually, CK kind of answered it earlier as well when he talked about food delivery ramping up, and I'm sure that's going to be the case. Food delivery is definitely a big winner in the current times, right? But I think what the other potential that has emerged out of it is that I think what will come out is that there is a conditioning of how people will order their food as well. They may even pre-order. I think pre-ordering has been something that has been mooted but has never really taken root. But I think this kind of conditioning over this 1 month period may actually will accelerate that process where people will actually pre-order. And then I think if the customers were to pre-order, the operator, the merchant, the F&B merchant might even be willing to do a special incentive to that. Right? It could be a discount, it could be add-ons, but it would be things like that. So it's going to be a slightly different approach to how people consume food, not just at home, and even when they go out dining, it's going to be slightly different already.
Yeah, I think I can agree with that, you know, because we basically been pre-ordering our food other than cooking. So we did a lot of cooking in our houses, but again, we sort of planned, hey, tomorrow, what can we pre-order? So that the people where we want to order our food from will get it ready, or they can pick it up, or they send to us. So yes, I think pre-ordering, not just food, but many other items like your groceries and all that, you could probably pre-order as you go forward. Okay, I've got 2 more questions before we end our session. The first, I'll tell you both the question, but we'll take them and answer in time so you can prepare. My 2 questions are going to be, one, exactly what do you first plan to do when the MCO is lifted? When you lift the MCO, what's the first thing you plan to do business-wise? And then after that, we'll tackle the last question, which is not really a question, but really advice. What advice can you give to any business people out there who think that they are not able to go on, or they're facing challenges that are insurmountable? So these 2 questions, right? So first one, let me ask Vincent, what do you plan to do first when the MCO is listed?
I think it's still, we'll still be continuing to do what we do, but I think one of the things that will kick back into motion would be the events, for sure. I think that at this moment, there are people planning for their events in the coming months. So what we're doing is we're now finding what are available dates in preparation of that, so that the moment they ask, they would know exactly immediately what's available, what's not, who can still meet the demand, who cannot, right? And I think that's important to be able to catch on that. I think there was a question in the chat room earlier from an event planner. It says he was asking, what should he do now, right? And then Edwin answered that where it's still continuing the conversation. And this is that time where you continue the conversation so that the moment MCO is lifted, either on the 14th or in a worst case scenario, where it's extended, then you're ready to act on it. That's from me.
Yeah, okay. Edwin,
for me, my opinion is I always benchmark it against the country who already experienced this. So I've been watching a lot of YouTube on what happens in China after the lockdown. Okay, so basically in China, everything is still although it's like released from lockdown, but the mood is still very lockdown. Okay, so it's still like very moody. Everyone is still very scared. So I don't think there's any celebration is going to happen. Maybe there's more freely movement, but then everything will be still the same. Like maybe eat at home and social distancing and everything were very much like MCO. So it's better to start practice the MCO procedure right now because it's gonna last for at least 3 to 6 months or maybe 9 months.
Okay, I think I get where you're coming from, and I sort of understand that things are, this is the new normal, right? I'm not sure we're going to start shaking hands again right after the MCO is lifted, right? So a lot of people are going to say, still, I'm going to wear my mask and stuff like that. CK, what are you going to do when the MCO is lifted?
Well, surely, if it's safe to travel, I will have to travel to TC or the factories where the product is made and meet more factories that have more awesome products to sell and provide to our customers. Definitely, I miss travel a lot. But one thing for sure, my great advice to all the business owners, because during this crisis, cash flow is very important, but please be rational. Right now, I have seen a lot of people, jumping into a mask business, face masks, and somehow somebody have connection in China, can make some quick bucks here, bringing the mask or hand sanitizer whatsoever. But just a wise words, Facebook has banned, if you want to, unless you are in this business, if you're trying to scale your business selling masks through Facebook and use Facebook as ads to push out to customers, please don't do, because Facebook already banned all sort of items related to COVID-19. They are not allowed you to advertise, down to masks and hand sanitizer. So forget about that. You're going to cause you more burdens in terms of cash flow when this thing has towards the end. So we don't know. So save the cash to what you know best. And for sure, like Evan said, friends from Guangzhou and friends from Xiamen and Shenzhen has told me malls has opened, but people dare not to go malls for this time. People are staying away from crowded places. People not to dine in restaurant, even restaurant has opened. So this will be a new norm for a short period of time. Even for events, people will, keep a distance, not to attend a crowded event for a very short time. There will be a new norm. So I think for us looking for how China has reacted. It can be a mirror for us, but what will happen to us a month later, because they are locked down way before us. So you can see how the behavior change, how's the change in each of our own industry. So let's say for Zaliza, you might not have a friends in China, but from asking a friends of friends, I'm sure you can get someone connected you in China to tell you your related industry, what would be the impact could be. So that will be a really good way for us to prepare what is coming for our industry. Thank you.
Okay, Zaliza, please.
After this MCO is lifted, that's a question, yeah? So I would say, as it is an essential business for community, family support, we would like to offer all corporates and companies out there to have your own licensed preschool childcare at your company, or link your company with the nearest Genius outlet, that's over 70 around Malaysia, to support you build your business while providing stability for your employees to continue working. You can also own a Genius outlet franchise for your company that's complete with the support franchise system, so you can have income there. Besides providing benefits for your staff, you can also have the income as a franchise, as a corporate franchise for your company to have that service for the staff and for companies around you. I see that as an opportunity and also support for the community to build business. This is exactly our plan once the MCO is lifted.
Sure. You don't have to answer it now, but there's somebody who asked a question just now online on the chat. When are you going to expand to Sarawak? So there you have an opportunity in Sarawak that you can take up with the person later. I happen to know the guy who asked the question, so you can contact me later on that. Okay, so now our final question for today is that you have a lot of people are now, probably facing their first ever big crisis and all that. What advice do you have for businesses who think that this may be the end for them, or they may not be able to survive this crisis? So Zaliza, you start and then we'll get the rest to answer.
As I shared earlier, in any condition, there are things that you can control and there are things that you can't control. This goes, despite any situation. So we as businesses, we exist to provide solutions, right? So focus on what we can control and be the source of solutions. It's not about being panic and change direction too much that, after the situation is over and then we try to find direction again. It's because giving a sense of focus is very important for our team and also for our clients to actually know that we are there for them.
Thank you, Edwin.
Okay, so actually my advice is same. Just be positive, and you need to believe in you can go through this, and you can be. There's a lot of opportunity for you. Then the reality will comes to you. All right. So right now we from my I observed that a lot of middle income group are actually very giving right now, because that day I saw one person gave the people on the street like 50 ringgit. Okay, usually like for beggar they will just give like 1 or 2 ringgit, but I see a lot of people are very giving. So try and don't worry. There's a lot of people will help you out. Yeah, that's just my advice.
Okay, the good advice, Vincent.
Okay, I went through 97. So 97 was the Asian financial crisis of 97 was a really tough time, and I think in comparison, yes, there is a lockdown. There wasn't a lockdown then, but the government response to it this time has been far different. So there are stimulus packages to get the economy going again. I remember one of the first things that was announced during the 97 financial crisis was interest rates were being raised, which was then killing a lot of businesses because you were choking money supply. This time, that's not the case. There are a lot of positives out of this current period. I think Edwin was the one who mentioned that he can see the humanitarian side of people coming out, where people are helping out one another. Even in the F&B industry, we see a lot of that, where the F&B players are actually helping out one another and actually promoting one another's businesses or giving ideas to one another. Does it mean it's any easier to come out of this? No, it's not easier, but I think there is a lot more support this time around. I don't discount the fact that a lot of us are under a lot of pressure, right? Because you got to worry about whether can you make payment for this, make payment for that. I think there is room for negotiation. So for example, one of the things that I had to go through then in 97 was to negotiate with EPF for payments because we couldn't make the payment immediately. So EPF actually said, okay, we'll give you X number of months to pay. So it was negotiable. Even for the salaries of staff that we couldn't pay at that point, they agreed to a negotiated package where that could be done. Yeah. So things can be negotiated. I think very early on, I think Cash, you said that negotiate. Back to you, Cash.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty good advice. And let's hear from CK first on the same subject.
Thank you. Thank you. For this time, I would appeal all of us focus on 3 areas that I always get from my mentor. Number 1, your people, your own people, your team. Focus on your own team. Number 2, focus on your customers, right? And then number 3, focus on our suppliers and our partners who support in our business. So like myself, I have less yamcha now with my friends prior to MCO because I really to build the business in such a short time to what it is today because we focus on 3 things: develop the team, spend more time, get to know your customers and communicate with your customers. And number 3, spend more time with your suppliers. Suppliers is not someone you just pay them and they provide you the service. It's someone you grow together, especially during this time. So until today, we managed to still receiving our goods and be the first preferred, partners when they start operation again. And it's because we have built in such a short time a very, very good relationship with these people and also our team and our customers. So these are the 3 areas we should really, really focus. And also, it depends on which category of your business we are in. Someone like me and Evan and Vincent are more like digital business. It's also a good time for us to check and balance, see where else we are still lacking and we can improve on during this time, and which area we should even focus more. And someone like traditional business owners, for example, is also a good time you reflect yourself because change is hard. But during this time, if you don't change, you can really see what's happened to your business. So it's a time of reflections and for traditional business and also a digital business like us and Evan and Vincent. Thank you.
Sure. Okay. Let me just wrap up this session a little bit and talk about the tips that maybe I can share. Just like Vincent, I've gone through many crises for sure. Looking at me, you'll know that we've gone through a lot of crises. I always tell, there's 3 things that I always tell people. 1, good businesses will survive. They may have a crisis, but they will survive later. So all businessmen should be, be strong to go through the crisis. But if you go through this crisis, you will emerge stronger and you will do better. That's one. The second is that you may end up having been in a business that you have no choice but is fully affected. And that's when you may need to pivot. Right? So if you have to pivot, you pivot. Right? So maybe there's some people who will be able to possibly change a little bit of their business and then move on, right? So you can pivot slightly and then you can move on. And finally, the third thing, no denying, some businesses are going to fail. And that's the reality of businesses, the world. Some businesses are going to fail, but that doesn't mean that the entrepreneur is gone or failed completely. You get up and maybe start something else. Right? So the thing is, the point I want to make is that if you're an entrepreneur, then you should be able to figure out which is the best way for you to move forward. Either survive the crisis, pivot slightly, or even start something new if you think you can't, but don't give up completely. That's one. And coming back again to the question of crowdfunding, I think we are here to help, just for you all to understand crowdfunding, how to convince people. I tell people, if you look at the businesses that have been raised or already raised money on Pitchin, people like Oxwhite and Signature Market, you see that they are surviving the crisis. Right? So how do I believe that they will last for 5 years from now? I think people like Signature Market raised money 3 years ago. They're still here and they're going to survive this crisis. And I have no doubt about Oxwhite too. So I think if you have a long-term view, this is the time for you to actually invest into businesses. I put it somewhere else I think on my personal Facebook or some message I sent out to people. You want to help in the crisis? Yes, you can also help by giving to the homeless and food and all that. But at the same time, this may be the time for you to actually invest into Malaysian businesses because they need your help now and they will repay you when the businesses go up, right? Coming back again to our other two panelists, Zaliza and Vincent are about to raise money on Pitchin. You will find that these deals will go live soon. Both of them are very, very good businesses. Vincent, as you know, is digitalized F&B and events business, and Zaliza is in the sector of education, which again, going forward is so important. And they've already are a success at it. They're not a new company. They've really grown. They're very large. They're very big. So there are opportunities for you to invest. And for the rest of you who are here, who are businesses who need help, you can come and talk to Pitchin. Our Facebook, you can reach us through our Facebook or through our website. We'll be happy to see how best we can help you and see how we can take this forward. And I'm going to ask Sam. Sam, do you want to say anything now?
Thanks, Cash. Thanks, guys, for the enlightening discussion about how you guys are facing or dealing with your businesses during these extraordinary times. So moving forward, I think as we continue living our lives under the MCO, and hopefully it stops on the 14th, if not, expect extension until at least a week or 2 weeks. So we will be focusing a lot more, as what Cash mentioned, in digital, using Zoom. We will be having 2 more events soon on April 3 and April 6. That's where you will see Vincent and Zaliza back online, this time presenting about their companies, and hopefully those who are still around can then join us during those 2 sessions and listen to them while they pitch their companies to you. So just because MCO is in session, it does not give an excuse for us entrepreneurs to be innovative, to find ways, to find solutions. It's not the end of the world. It only makes us stronger and more determined to actually succeed in this. Yeah. So there's ways to it. Lean on your fellow entrepreneurs, ask questions. I'm sure everyone is there to help everyone so that we can weather this storm and continue to grow after this MCO event. So that's it from me. I hope to see you guys again in the next Pitchin Issuer Preview that we'll be having in a week's time. So I'll hand it over back to Cash.
Yeah, okay. So thank you very much to all the panelists. Thank you, CK. Thank you, Vincent. Thank you, Edwin. And thank you, Zaliza. It's
Thank
been
you.
a very, very good discussion. And thank you for all the participants who came out to listen to these great speakers. Please do share your thoughts. If you have any suggestion on what session we can have next, you can reach us through Facebook or through email. You can also find other ways to connect with us and let us know. But we will be having more sessions like this. But for now, stay tuned for the Friday session and on the Monday. Great companies presenting. Please come and listen to them. Thank you very much, and all of you again. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. I'm just going to answer one or two questions that has come up before I close the meeting.
Zaliza, there's some questions for you, Zaliza. So go to the Q&A tab. So there is two questions from you, from Manzoor in Sarawak, and also from Dr. Ramesh.
Manzoor in Sarawak. Okay,
so you go to the Q&A tab, yeah?
Okay, I am the Q&A tab here.
Yep.
Oh, Q&A, all right, okay, fine.
So you see there, Salam Zaliza, any plans to extend to Sarawak?
Ah, okay, that's an opportunity coming, see? Okay, how I see is that, you see, whenever we open for franchise, we are very careful to have very good, dedicated franchisee, right? So yes, it is in our plan to open in Sarawak, and with our focus on franchise, we will have a flagship center in Sarawak to start off. So we are open for those who are interested in the expansion in Sarawak, meaning to say the potential franchisee will be a franchisee who will own the territories of as much as we can go for a particular area in Sarawak, so that there is a good potential for the growth of that franchisee for that area. So yes, for the one who's asking, Cik Manzoor, please share around. And actually, we have not expanded yet in Sabah and Sarawak. So yes, there's a big potential there for the growth. Thank you. So the second question is, I have student entrepreneur HF robotics in UTM who are doing robotic training but now shifted to online during MCO. The customers are very positive and always look forward for more sessions. How to sustain their engagement when the MCO is lifted, as the customers in primary, secondary school will be busy with their school activities? Okay, now first of all, let's understand what education is about. Education is not all about academic, and it's not just about, during daytime. And I believe robotics is not something that we do daily. So you may want to offer to the school to have a co-curricular, as part of the co-curricular activity. So you can offer that, I believe, to a larger group, contacting the schools who would like to have those programs, instead of, now it's like already like every home. Now you can target the whole school. Like you mentioned in Sekolah Rendah, Sekolah Menengah, it's just an idea. So as engagement is possible. I see that education is even more essential business and support for the community after this MCO. Yep.
Okay, thank you very much, all of you again, and see you all another time soon.
Bye.
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 Bye. Thanks for organizing.